This is A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, a place where you get to be an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat.
What's up, everybody? We are back with another episode of A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, the place where you get to be an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. And for our viewers, as you can see, we have a very, very special guest with us today to help us recap all the drama and the entertaining things going on week 3 of BBCAN. And we are excited to have none other than the runner-up of season 10 of BB Canada, Dr. Josh Nash.
Woo, 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 woo. Woo, Dr. Nash in the house.
Party tonight.
Yes. Listen, so much has been going on in this house. I know you can't wait to talk about it. But before we get into what's going on in the house, let's talk about you. Like, how has life been since Big Brother? What's going on now in your life? Tell us a little bit about that.
Life has been wild since Big Brother. I feel like any person who goes on reality TV deserves a severance after, because
for sure,
like, it's wild. I love the experience, though. It was really great to be a part of, and this is my first podcast post BBCAN that I've ever done, so I'm really excited to see what we get into tonight. But yeah, life has really been a whirlwind. Everything's changed for me a lot, especially with like my relationships, like with my family and everything. We're so close. They love watching me on TV. Like, that was really cool for them to see. So I'm excited to see what's in the future for me too.
Awesome. Thank you again. This is your first podcast, he said, everybody. We appreciate you allowing us to be the first platform that you've taken since BBCAN, and we're so excited to have you here. So
thank you. Let me do what I do best. Now, let me let you know, Josh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I was a part of the Josh Nash crew. If you had a beehive, I was in it. Okay.
Yes. The Josh Hive.
The Josh Hive was high. I was on the pedestal. I was up there. I was like vice president.
The train was running. The train was hot, and anyone
listen.
Yes.
And when you came,
the train was moving.
Listen, and when you came and snatched my soul in that last episode, I have to tell you. Oh my gosh!
I don't know what you're talking about.
I can tell you what I'm talking about. Shout out to Betty. Betty is a fan of the show. Our
is a fan of ours.
We love her. She's been on the show before. Shout out to Betty. I was mad. Okay, I'm still mad. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be mad up until the premiere episode of BBCAN11. So you made it just at the cut. Because if it was before then, I was gonna still be upset. But regardless of what happened, I know it was some drama and some mess. You really did play a very phenomenal game.
Yes.
And people talk about Kevin and his game. And I feel like it's kind of overshadowed. Yours was great. You did everything you were supposed to do. You won comps. You backstabbed. You made friends. You made alliances. Me, I love a good villain. And Josh, you villained so well. And what was great is you snuck up and caught us at the end being the villain.
That last
my
knife
God.
to the chat, like, wow.
If it was anybody but Betty, I would have been like, I would have like, he did it. Exactly. So I will give credit where credit is due. You played an amazing game, and I hope you don't let nobody else deter you from that statement alone. I would love to see you play again, honestly.
Big time.
I really would.
I really do.
Would you go back?
You know what? I thought about this a lot, because for me, I don't really think I'm the right person for that show, because I really, as people in the house know, I hated evictions. I never wanted to vote anybody out.
You did.
Like,
we saw that on the feed.
Put me on the Real World or something, like just put me on Disney Store, like let's just hang out in the house. I don't really want to see anybody go.
You want kumbaya? That's what you want.
Yeah, I want kumbaya all the time. St. Pat's, when they gave us the drinks and everything, I was like, this is a party. I like everybody.
That's it.
Yeah, it was a lot for me to go through, and I don't know emotionally if I'm the right person for that show. If I do go back, I definitely would play a different kind of game, and I think it's the game that I had in my mind. Before I went into the house. That's the kind of person I thought I was going to be. but I think I just got really pulled into a lot of other people's things because I really wanted everyone to be happy. I really wanted everyone to be
Nah,
I was like, you want this, and you want this, and you want that, and you want this. Like, let's make it all happen for everybody. And that just doesn't work. So, I think I will go back, but I would play the game that I have in my mind before I went into the house the first time.
Yeah, I will say one thing I really enjoyed about the game you played the last time was the fact that you played for you. So often in these games, people come in and they're just like, I'm gonna do what the house wants. I don't want to flip anything. You were willing to gosh dang put up Betty and Summer in the the triple.
Woo.
That was jaw drop.
That was
the gosh dang
crazy.
Triple. And even though some people on the outside might say, what that, like, it's the wrong move. It was the move you thought was best, which I will always respect. And that's why, man, we need you back, Josh.
It was, looking back at the triple, I was in a really difficult place because I feel like if anybody else didn't win, like if Kevin didn't win it, if Helena didn't win it, if Betty didn't win it, if Summer didn't win it, they all probably would have been good. But I feel like I always would have went on the block because I was playing this game where I just loved being in trouble. I'd rather be on the block than anybody else be on the block. And so when I hear people like Hope say like, I want to be on the block, I want to prove myself, I completely understand that.
Crazy.
Because you don't want to be the villainized person. You don't want to be that person that's sending people home and who do I become at the end of the day.
So you rather sit there like
I just rather be pretty on the block and keep it for a little bit. I don't bother nobody. I just sit in the kitchen eating my cookies, eating my snacks, eating all the food too much. That's all I'm doing. Like,
but clearly
don't
that
turn
was
into Renee.
Right.
I mean, it worked for a while, but when we got down to the nitty gritty, like you really have to do the competitions and win, and that's really all it comes down to. With the triple, I will say that if I had put up Kevin or Helena, I think they're the type of people in the game who definitely would have been a little bit more vindictive about it because Kevin or Helena would have went home with Marty and Summer would have stayed. Summer would have been pissed at me and I don't think she would have trusted me the same. And Betty would have had a lot of questions and Kevin or Helena would have outed that alliance that I had with them to them. And it would have been almost like this, I feel like 3-on-1 or like 4-on-1 even with JC.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So it really was at that time the only logical game move. But for me personally, it still doesn't sit right with me because Summer she's my homegirl. Like I love Summer. We're cool now.
Summer too.
Yeah, we're chill. Yeah. But in my heart, it was just like, am I gonna play the game or am I gonna play with my heart? And I think at that time I kind of picked the game.
Yeah.
Did you really, really think that you had a better shot against Kevin over Betty, or was it just because you and Kevin's connection was that much more than you and Betty's?
Me and Kevin had this relationship. I wouldn't say it was like a love-hate, but it was like...
Oh, it looked like love.
He wanted to... I know. I mean, Trixie, I have a type, but... I don't know if Kevin fits in my type, but...
Okay.
All jokes aside, like, it was difficult at that time because... the live feeds are cut for the last like 3-4 days that we're in that house. And I had conversations with Betty and I had conversations with Kevin and they were both very different. And it wasn't that I ever thought I was going to have a better chance against any of them. If you ask me personally, I think I should have won. It shouldn't have mattered who I sat next to. Like my back was against the wall every single time. So for me, it didn't really matter who I was going to sit next to. I had personal reasons why I wanted to sit next to them rather than the other. And that wasn't the decision I made at the end of the game just because of those conversations. And even when I talked to them at the end of the game, we both decided that if we had that conversation where it was like, you're going to keep me, absolutely 100%. But that's not the conversation that we had.
Right.
Okay. I guess we'll let you slide with that one.
But I mean, if I come back for All Stars, we'll see what happens. I mean,
come on now.
Oh goodness. So when Tracy was being shady with the whole love situation with Kevin, and she'll get us into the feeds or the little dailies that we have. It seems to be a reoccurring situation or phenomenon, if you will, going on in the house when it comes to LGBT, POC, and basic white men that play this game.
That's what it seems like.
I mean, it's something in the galaxy. It's given Interstellar. Like, there's something out there coming into the game, pulling the books down, like being like, open the book. This is what you're doing today, okay?
So I'm like, what kind of spell is in that house that binds you? Because we see Daniel is kind of, although he saying that he wasn't, but it's like, and it was just game. Well, he was fighting a little too hard, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the show. He was fighting a little too hard for Zach. And so, and I seen you tweeted a little bit of something about like, why do you feel like this keeps happening? What is your overall truth perspective on this?
I feel like we don't give enough credit to the LGBT contestants that come on the show, because I don't think people realize that this can be very traumatic for a lot of them, because you're going into this house playing a version of yourself that might not be your true self, when you've already had to live as a version of yourself that wasn't your true self for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that's why I always give them grace no matter what and what decisions that they're making, because that path and that journey can bring all of that up in that house, especially when you don't have your supports around like you usually do, and you're questioning all these people. So it's not like we get to be a version of ourselves that we want to be. Like, I remember in the house, it was even something simple. Like, all of the guys would go work out together, and I was never invited. And I used to wonder if it was because of my sexuality or if I did something wrong. And I should overinvest in those relationships in some ways, overcompensates, just to kind of get the same credit and access to those relationships if I were straight. And there was a point early on in the game, it was night one when we first got in, and I felt like people were hitting on me, and I was like, okay, should I pretend to be straight in this game? Like, am I going to get into a straight role, like showmance, whatever? But morally, it didn't sit right with me. I mean, it just didn't sit right with me about like wanting to try to be my most authentic self in the house. And I've had a lot of different people and fans reach out to me after, saying that my story really inspired them to like come out to their family and things like that, or if I had any advice for them. And I tread very lightly on things like that, because I know that it's a very long process. And so I think we need to give a little bit more grace to Daniel. We need to be a little more considerate of that journey for him. Like, we've never heard his story or anything like that. And he could just be trying to build those relationships. I don't know if you remember, but Daniel and Claudia were sitting on the couches not too long ago, and he was talking about how he misses Zach.
I was about to bring that up.
He wishes Zach was still in the house.
Lord,
and I think when people see that, they take it at face value and they go, oh, well, Daniel's in love with Zach. He really misses him. But what we also need to remember is Claudia, she almost flipped to keep Zach here. Like, she was having moral distress.
She was very close.
She was very close. And so Zach knows that relationship was something that did mean something to Claudia as well. And so by making that connection, it helps you build that bond with those people where you also don't have the same commonalities. And I don't know if Daniel C have a lot in common. I mean, Daniel C and Claudia have a lot in common. I mean, she's from the East Coast, he's from Toronto. Very two different lives, I feel like. So,
okay. Well, thank you for that perspective, because I don't.
It's my long-winded answer. I'm out of it.
No, that's a great
answer. Greatly said.
Yes.
I would have never saw it from there, because I'm gonna be very real with you. I was ready to be like, Daniel, what is you doing? Daniel, why are you here? Daniel, you said you were a super fan. But when you put it, see, that's exactly why we need representation of all different kinds of shapes and sizes and colors and backgrounds and sexual orientation, all of that, because you put a different perspective that I personally didn't see. So, I mean, I appreciate that, because you never know what somebody is really going through. Right. You never know, even if whether Zach's relationship with Daniel is real or not, they probably have some kind of connection that Daniel feels comfortable with him enough that he can't break that bond to vote him out. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it might be one of the only straight people in the house that he has that connection with, because the rest of the guys don't reach out to him or want to sit with him. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to speak from that experience, but when I watch the show now, I really see Daniel see a lot with the girls, which was a lot of what I did in the game. Yeah. I mean, I would lead workouts with the girls. Like, I would eat with the girls. Me and Betty would make lunch together. Me and Summer would make breakfast together. Even when we sit together in the HOH room, like, I mean, I'm not going to Marty's HOH room, but ain't
nobody going to Marty's HOH room.
Anyone else was in there, it was like, it was comfortable to just kiki with your girls and hang out.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, goodness. So yes, like Tree said, thank you so much for that perspective.
Mhm.
Now, switching gears to get into this game to look what's going on, because this week I'm telling you, it gave what needed to be given. It's probably one of the more exciting weeks I've ever seen in BBCAN and even in what our BBUS in the recent season. So
yes,
we still want our feeds back though.
We definitely want the feedback.
I can't help with that, but
I want them back.
Oh my goodness. Do you feel like we're missing something with the feeds before she gets talking about the dailies?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know because I'll be honest, before I went on Big Brother, I never watched the feeds. And so I feel like that would help my game. I was a casual. I was almost a casual.
A casual super fan.
Shame. This is my bell.
And so when I went into the game, if I had new things like talking to the cameras, giving my own little dialogue a little more, I think that would have helped a lot of people from my perspective.
Oh, for sure.
Going into the game and watching the digital dailies, I don't really know what it's giving because it's giving a lot of breakfast and
a lot of
sandwich time and vacuuming. Like I really do miss the vacuuming from Vanessa though. That was a highlight.
We saw it, nah.
So it's like I don't really know what to say that they offer right now, and I don't think it's much, especially when we haven't had them this last week. So we're really trying to piece the story together ourselves from the episodes, and I don't think that's enough because even being a part of the game, it's just not enough.
It's not.
It's not.
See, personally, like, specifically, like Shania. I always say her name
because you want to say Shania.
I do because I know it's Shania. That's probably why. Anyways, Claudia, Renee. We don't see a lot of their game, and I feel like I could actually really like Renee's gameplay, even though she's been on the blog. I feel like Shania. I'm gonna do that every single time. For some odd reason, like I picked her as my draft person, and there's some kind of connection to her that I really like, but I don't see her. I don't know who she is. I really don't. They don't show her enough on the feed.
I feel like she's
what
real.
Her strategy is. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
If we keep it above, we don't know none of them.
Listen, really, honestly,
except for Zach and Ty. I feel like
because they ran their mouth all day.
It's been the whole show is the Zach and Ty show. It's not Big Brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Big Brother, Little Brother.
I was just gonna say Big Brother, Little Brother. There we go.
That part. So Tree,
I love her. Ahead. Like Shania, I really think she's playing a really good game right now. There's something we don't know because nobody is even looking at her. Like she is just so
right.
She's me. She's eating her cookies and eating her waffles in the kitchen and showers while people are yelling. Like
I was just about to say
she's collecting all the information, storing it up, and I think she'll really come through in the end.
I 100% agree.
And she's the one that's in law school, right? She's in law school.
That's Renee.
Oh,
no.
Renee?
She's bartender.
Oh, she's bartender.
She's bartender.
Renee to law school.
Yeah,
that's law school. Okay.
Yeah. Law school.
We're 3 weeks in, and we're still struggling with this episode.
And I hate that. I have to like I would have had everything pinned by now, but because I don't have the feeds and like even when I'm watching, like when I used to watch the feeds, I used to go about my day and have my headphones in. You know, I recognize voices, and then I would literally pop in like, oh shoot, Betty's going off on somebody. Let me go back to the camera. But I can't do that with the dailies because I only recognize these voices. And we 3 weeks in, so it's really I really miss the feeds. I really hope they don't do that for next season. If there is a next season, I hope they don't do that.
We'll talk about that when we get to the end if there's gonna be another BBCAN or not.
We gonna see.
So where we left off with everyone, I know we were talking about speculating with Kuzi being HOH. We knew she was HOH last Friday. And we're speculating like who her noms would be. We know people were like, she shouldn't take a shot at Zach, but everybody hated Zach in the outside world. So we all wanted Zach to be gone. But we're like, people are like, it's not best for her game. So something like a Santina and a Dan would be best. But we heard through the feed or the dailies that she was doing Vanessa and Santina. And then we get to the new dailies that we got. Trees, what was going on with this week's daily that we did get?
So they didn't put a lot on this week's daily. But what I thought was very interesting, in the beginning, so we know there's the secret, what are they calling this, HOH?
Who done it? I wish we had that.
That's very interesting, right? I guess it's kind of like the secret. No,
I mean, it's around the same time of the chain of safety that they're doing this, so it's kind of
my gosh,
secretive. But
we gotta have a whole segment about the chain of safety when we get back to that.
That was nice.
So basically on the feeds today, Hope and Dan were having a conversation. They're trying to figure out who the HOH is. I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out there. I personally think it's Big John. No. John and Hope were having a conversation. So I they're going back and forth. They're trying to figure out who it is. John does say, "I promise you're safe." Why are you making promises, John? Right. If you're not the HOH, he's like, I mean, I couldn't say nothing, but I promise you, I didn't win it, but I have a feeling you're safe. You're safe. And throughout the data was on like an hour and a half long, but they keep pinning back to conversations with him. I feel like we ain't seen John this much on the camera since never. So why y'all keep following John around?
Since Rob was over Rob, since Rob was leaving,
right?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, what's going on? What's the tea? So they didn't really give us a lot of tea. Daniel did say he missed Zach. That was a big thing. That the Twitter streets was talking about. Like, hey, we what is you doing? What's up? But we already discussed that. Claudia, when we first got the dailies, she was cuddled up with Ty. I don't know what it is with Claudia because she's so flip-floppy for me with Ty. Like, I kind of get it. I mean, to a certain extent, like, okay, he's still in the game, so you still got to kind of play him a little bit. I'm all for that. Play him whatever. I don't care. But to a certain extent, like, girl, like, stand up. What are you doing?
Stand up,
please. Like, how do y'all feel about Ty and Claudia's relationship in the game? Is what I want to ask y'all.
It ain't real.
For who?
From Ty's perspective,
it's not happening. It's not.
Oh, to
I think
Ty,
either of this, to be honest.
I didn't think she liked him like that either, but I don't know.
I didn't think so either. But then why is she bawling? She was like bawling her little eyes out. I was like, are these real tears?
That house is emotional. That house, I mean, that house will make you cry.
It's just.
I mean, Josh is ready to cry over Kevin. We all know
from first-hand experience and what I go through at work. I still have never come home from work and cried like that over anything.
Oh my god!
And I've seen some things, so yeah, that house will do things to you.
Oh my god!
It's the Interstellar. It's the books dropping.
The Interstellar.
Yeah, funny. I don't know. Maybe I feel like she is playing them because, like, well, the little DRs that we get, it's like, okay, because she like she was saying she liked Zach. So, like, going back to this week's episodes, like, she liked Zach, but she knew that he still needed to go. Like, no matter how bad that, the bond that they did have, it was best that he went home. So maybe she is playing him. Hopefully she is. I hope so.
Last relationship that just happened with Rob and Shania. The moment they didn't get together, Rob was gone. Maybe they're staying safe. Don't want to cut any number away.
Well, Shania is apparently, which I haven't seen much of. Well, we haven't seen much of. She has like a little flirt thing going on with Dan S. We haven't seen much of it, but DJ Dan, they do mention it here and there. Actually, last week, Ty and Kuzi had a conversation about maybe working with her, and that's when Ty was pushing to put DJ Dan on the block. I'm like, I thought DJ Dan was your ally. Like, what's going on? Ty flip flops on who he exactly.
I didn't want anybody to go home. He did not want Zach to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, somebody got to go home.
If you walk, I walk. But actually, I'm gonna stay.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I was cracking.
So let's get into it right now. So now that y'all caught up with what's going on right now, let's get into what's going on with this week. So we have what we knew to be Vanessa and Santina as the nominees. However, we get to Wednesday's episode. And that chair was empty because Vanessa, unfortunately, had to leave the game due to a medical emergency. So,
did they say it was medical?
Yeah. Well, her family did. She mentioned on Twitter at least.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they were saying she would never quit the game because it was like she quit. Vanessa quit, and her family were, they were hardcore on Twitter saying she would never quit. She would never quit. And they told us what happened in the first 10 seconds. And so they were like, well, that was quick.
Just kidding.
Vanessa she had a medical.
I really don't think she would quit, though. I really think she wants
I don't either. And same with Amal. People were like, two people already quit. I'm like, I don't think Amal quit either. I think it was just some personal things that just happened that she had to leave.
Some things take you away.
Yeah. So she was gone. So unfortunately for our sister Kuzi, which shout out Kuzi for winning HOH again. She's a queen. She had to nominate a third person. So she nominated Hope. And I know a lot of people are like, why would she nominate Hope? Why would she nominate Hope? We're going to get there. So she nominates Hope. And so they're playing, they get ready for veto. Ty gets picked to play. Zach gets picked to play. Everybody that didn't need to be in there got picked. And Kuzi was like,
ultimate Canada draw. Just like ultimate. They have to win. Oh, Zach and Ty are now in here, of course.
Right. And of course, our sister Anika gets picked to play too. She ready, she hyped. She's like, I can do this, I can do this. And so it's like, it seems like the odds are stacked against Santina because she don't want to be on the block. She's upset that Kuzi put her up. But it's like, sis, you do nothing for her game. So
nothing.
You gotta go. So be it. And you have, this is important to note, Zach says he's throwing the comp because he doesn't need to win. He's very confident in the fact that he didn't need to win.
Well, when he said that, I knew it was over. I said, yep, Zach gone.
Yeah. And then you have Ty who says, I didn't want to win. He was like, well, there's $5,000 on the line, so I'm going to win. I'm going to try to win.
Remember that statement, y'all. Remember that statement.
Remember it. And put it in your brain. Stash it in your back pocket because he said it. In his DR. He had no reason to lie. What you lied to the DR for? So you meant it. And so that's what he says. And so we're playing. The competition is going. Santina is killing it. Ty is killing it. Zach is throwing it. Anika is doing pretty good, but Hope is also doing really, really well. So it's tied between Ty, Hope, and Santina. Luckily for us and the house, Hope pulls out the win. And he's excited. He's pumped up. And he's like, this is the win I needed. I needed this, and I'm ready to have my moment. And so after this happens, Hope reveals that it was in the plan for him to go up. He talked to Kuzi and asked to be put up so he could win the veto and they could make a big move in this house. Because she said if somebody comes off the block, she's going to put Zach up. She got to take the shot. She feels like it's time. So I was like, okay. So they had some plans in the work, but I also got to give Hope some props because, the last couple of weeks we've heard him being down, wanting to go home. He's been soaking. Turns out this man has been playing reverse psychology with the house. I said, come on, Hope, Kirby, Gisela, Jacobs.
What is you doing? What are you doing?
He says, this is the whole narrative I've wanted the house to believe. I want to play this game. I'm here to play, but I needed them to believe that I was down and out so they would feel sorry for me, so they wouldn't think I'm a threat. I was like, that was actually brilliant. That was brilliant. Go ahead.
I really appreciate that he did that because let's be very real. Let's be very real. Hope is a tall, dark-skinned black man on Big Brother. Everybody know he's going to come in and be aggressive. He's going to come in and win all the comps. He's going to come in and do this. The fact that he purposely, we know now, came down and he, in I guess, in some kind of way, lowered himself, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So he kind of like, okay, let me put myself in a safe zone for the rest of the house. So everybody saw him as sad. Oh, he wants to go home. Oh, like a poor little puppy dog. Oh, it's okay. Oh.
Nobody wants to waste an Nobody wants to waste an HOH on that. I know I wouldn't personally.
I wouldn't. I would have been like, get out of my face, Hope. No.
If somebody want to be smoking,
the doors right there. You're not missing on my HOH.
Right. Like I would never, and I don't understand why people I would never, if somebody wants to go home, you want to have walk yourself out the door like Trixie said, because I'm not wasting HOH on somebody who want to go home. Because nobody's stopping you from walking out.
That's why I think they should keep Ty. Ty's all by himself now. You should keep him.
Listen, all by
nobody will vote for him. Like,
he's a target.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Worst case scenario, kick him out.
They will never trust him again. Yeah,
no.
He just don't need to win power.
Jury votes? Will Ty win jury votes? Of course, there's all the jury left. But if no one likes him,
no.
He shouldn't win.
At this point, Ty's the best person to take the jury right now.
Absolutely. Honestly,
if I was in the house, I'd take him so quick. I would have came to Ty like, "Hey, look, we got to keep it cool right now." But just know, final two, it's me and you. Final two will be locked.
Just
locked.
Me and you.
Listen, locked and loaded. You hear me?
So we get that reveal, which was really great to see. But the conversation with Kuzi and Ty, it kind of explodes because she's telling him, all right, if Hope takes himself off the block, I'm putting your boy Zach up. I just need you to know that because
straight up.
He's been running around this house thinking he the king of the castle, but I'm the queen. And what goes on in this house is what I say. And so he got to go. And Ty jumped up in her face a little bit. And so I was like, hold on, bro. You're not jumping in Koozy's face.
He was getting a little tough. I said, hold on, Ty.
But she didn't back down.
Tyrell, what are you doing? Shoot.
But she did not back down. She basically told him, she was like, oh, this is how you want to do? You want to come for me? You're next. And he didn't know what to do with that. He was
he walked off. He didn't know what to say.
She's right. She's right. He is next though.
Yep. So
she said when she don't miss. And I mean, where's the lie?
Exactly. And so he goes back and obviously he goes to Hope and he's like, I need you to do something. I might need you to do something crazy. You might have to stay on the block. And Hope like, huh? What you mean stay on the block? He's like, yeah, I might need to just trust me. He said, because Zach, she think about putting you up. He's like, what? Why? I don't know. She's just thinking about putting you up. And so Hope, we might need you to, do this plan. And so they're busy trying to get Hope to not use the veto on himself, which is stupid. I'm like, Hope, if you don't do nothing else,
he's gonna pull a Jed.
There was this guy named Jed. Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Not. I will drive from Texas to Canada and walk through that door and slap him myself if he didn't use that veto on himself.
I was like, he better
about to be the ring forward, about to jump through the TV.
Very, very much so.
But we get to the the veto ceremony, and Hope does decide to use the veto. But before that, there's a conversation that Zach and Ty have, and they're like, he better use it, otherwise, I got some information that can get him disqualified. And Zach is like, what the letter? And I'm like, what letter? We all like, what you mean?
Oh, letter gate.
And so they leave us on that cliffhanger. But we do have Koozy stand up and say, after Hope uses the veto to take himself off, she said, somebody says you miss 100% of the shots you don't make, and I promise you my shots will land. So Zach, take a seat on the block.
Listen.
And I couldn't ask for a better way to end that little episode on the cliffhanger. It was beautifully done. I love how she closed her eyes and she talks. She says what
with
she
emphasis.
means.
You know what I'm saying? I love it. I've been watching Big Brother for a very, very, very long time. Okay. This Koozy is playing this HOH like old school Big Brother, and I'm talking about to your face. She's not being nice about it. She's not, oh, okay, well, let me break it to you. She's straight up like, hey, yo, you sitting in that chair. I'm not putting you there unless I know you're going home. You going home. You know what I'm saying? I love her confidence.
Because she
didn't have to be timid. Which a lot of times we got to do that. We loud, I'm loud. That's how we be. But I love the fact that she was herself. She was loud. She was direct. She wasn't shading nothing. There ain't no shade over her, honey. It's sunny. You going up. That's it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. And it goes back into that conversation that her and Ty were having, because they kind of were flipping back and forth with, because the edit, how they chop and screw everything in the timeline and whatnot. But it's like, he was like, that's why your plan is getting ready to fail. You messed up. And she was like, no, my plan. She was like, listen, your boy's going home. I can promise you that. I have the votes to get him out, and he will be leaving this house today. And so I was so glad to see her stand her ground, because we know how they've tried to play this game. And for the record, we've said it. They were playing a great game. Zach and Ty, they were running the house as you're supposed to do. They were just doing too much, and they got caught.
Right.
And so we have Zach on the block now. They have this letter. And so we have Arissa. She dressed in black like it's a funeral for the eviction episode, but she looked great as always.
Was serving.
And so we have this whole scenario where they show Hope giving something to Ty, and then they start talking about it after the ceremony. So they're in the almost at the cafeteria, the storage room. And Zach and Dan and Ty are all in there. And like, so we got to tell production. We're going to tell them right now. They better do something about this. And DJ Dan's like, what are y'all even talking? Just clueless as you want to be. Clueless as a question mark. Don't know what's going on in the house. And they're like, I got some information that can get Hope disqualified. And so production overhears this conversation like, come to the diary room. And they're like, so what's this about a letter and some possible cheating going on? And so he explains that Hope had a letter from home and that and they're like, so how long have you known? Oh, about 3 weeks. Okay, so why you didn't say nothing?
Exactly, that part.
Because you're lying.
That part.
Let me say that. Let me stop you right there. Zach, of course, we know what the gist with Zach is now. Zach is purposely saying that he was cheating and he utilized this letter. It could have helped him in the game. He's cheating. He misplayed us. He lied. You could have been told about said letter as soon as you heard about it. So the same way y'all thought Hope was manipulating y'all because of this hiding this letter like he's cheating, you're doing the same thing because you sat on it and waited until you got a chance to use and manipulate Hope to not use that veto. You're doing the same thing that you blaming Hope for.
Exactly.
The exact same thing. It's a game.
Coming into the house, like they do a complete thorough search. And I remember it was like day 3 or 4, and I had found a piece of paper in my bag and a pen. Ooh. And I never told Buddy the entire game because I was worried about getting expelled or evicted because that's an advantage. I never used it. I never touched it. I left it in my bag. But sometimes people would love to wear my clothes in the house and they would be like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure. It's in my bag. Huh? And I was like, on the pen, did they steal it? So every time I would go check and just make sure it was tucked in the corner. But I was too afraid to tell anybody.
BBCAN, come on, get
that part, but
look. I said the check is cash, and I can say whatever I want to now.
This man, he was writing down days, y'all.
That's how we knew the hours. No, I'm kidding. Like,
right down days.
Well, this is off topic, but we discuss. I get off topic quite easily. In that whole beginning part of the game when you played, were you throwing all those comps?
I was so
because listen, I would know.
Well, I wanted to win the first HOH. I did want to win the first HOH, and I said that in my interview. I said that to everybody that I talked to because I wanted Kevin to go back. Like I wanted Kevin to go.
We all knew Kevin was going first. We knew it.
What had happened was I got into the house. I was mingling, kicking with everybody. I get to Kevin, and Kevin, it was like rapid fire. It wasn't even like I was meeting someone. It was like, what do you do? Where do you live? Where do you go to school? How long you been there? And I was like, this is a red flag for me.
Right. Inspector.
I went into the DR and I was like, Kevin needs to go home.
Doing too much.
When I did our HOH, yeah, and he was like, oh, you should do marine biology. How long you been doing that? Where you do that at? I was like, this man's asking me too many questions, and now I have to lie about my job because I was gonna tell everybody I was a teacher. And then he told me his fiance was a teacher because I was a girlfriend at the time. And I was like, you know what am I going to say now? Like, I don't know anything, like marine biology. So that's how that happened. But originally it was
he's like, why did he pick a profession that he could just lie about? I was like, Josh, what is you doing?
All the professions, marine, that was so specific too.
Yeah, I know.
Not just
when I went on the stage, I was with Herman and Moose. I said, you guys were safe, we're good. And then I wanted so bad to mention Kevin, but that man just moved so quick. He moved
too quick.
Well, he probably would have went home, but Melina decided she was gonna tell everybody she knew about the lions and started running her mouth.
We was like, Melina, what is you doing, girl?
She was there. She was there to play the competitions, and I think at the game it was just like a lot of. I don't think lying maybe is in her nature as well, and being that kind of person. So I respect that too.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it funny how he went from the person you wanted out week 1 to the one you took to the end.
Listen, a tragic story. A tragic story, man.
Romeo and Juliet.
How did we get there?
The captain.
Look, Interstellar. That's what it
is. Oh goodness. But
we live in a parallel universe, so maybe in another universe,
you probably won.
Hey.
Or Betty,
or listen.
Look, you learned it quick. Good answer.
Great answer. But yeah, going back to where we were with this the note thing. Like you said, like he wanted to wait 3 weeks until it was convenient. Y'all thought y'all could use this to strong arm Hope into doing what y'all wanted. Couldn't do that.
And
that
production.
failed. So now we're going to strong arm production. Kick this man out because he's cheating X, Y, and Z. And so they're like, all right, Hope, come on in the dining room. You know, like they getting called to the principal office. Aaron, that's production, I believe, the one whose name came across the screen. Come on in here, Hope. What's going on? What's this about a letter? He's like, and he's like a little, yes, I had the letter. Mm-hmm.
He looked like he was in trouble.
He looked like he was in trouble. And so what's the contents of the letter? And it was basically his girlfriend snuck a little letter to him saying that she loved him, that he can do this, he's amazing, he's gonna do all right, and to believe himself, stuff like that. And so when they told us what was in the letter, I said, "Oh,
I was like, now wait a minute. Yeah. I know y'all.
That boy Zach. That boy Zach was like, he has the biggest advantage. Like, she's saying, "I love you." That's it.
Right. And this happened like a few days. I think Arissa said a few days after like the game started. So something that happened weeks ago. The game barely even started. Nobody knew what was going on. No competitions had really been won. And so I know I tweeted from the account. I was like, at worst, he should have gotten a penalty nom. This is before we found out what had happened. But I was like, that was at the worst. I was like, because him getting a letter that had zero game information did not warrant expulsion from the game. And so they were just on this tirade that they truly believed that this letter gave him some unforeseen advantage over everybody in the house, that it was strictly cheating and that he needed to walk. Otherwise, they were going to walk. So from your perspective as an alumni about this note, do you think it was cheating, and do you think the consequences were appropriate? Because what they did was they decided that Hope would not get a vote. They would strip him of his vote, and then that they would not allow him to play in HOH. But they also balanced the scales and gave everybody in the house letters from home. What are your thoughts on how all this played out?
Yeah. I mean, I think Kuzi said it right. Like, he broke the rules. I think cheating is a gray area, because not only if you break the rules, but if you break them and then start to use those to your advantage. And I think we really have to clarify and define what an advantage is in this game. Week 3, a letter, I don't think is deep enough. If you got a letter by like week 8 that you're looking at and your family's already been gone for 2 months, I think that's a bit more of an advantage, because even when we're playing the game, like, by the last like final 3, we just wanted to get the hell out that house. Like, if they opened that door, we all would have walked out together. Like, we were good. We played the game. We did the thing. It's time to go home. So I think at that point, it's not enough of an advantage. And I think they had the right response to give everybody else the same advantage.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And I wish someone else would have brought in paper for my season and we would all got our letters. I wish someone did that, but you know, I think Hope, he really is just a genuine, nice person, and he trusted people with that information, and those people tried to use it against him. And I mean, karma, she's up, because look what happened. Like,
oh, you can say it on here. I don't cut, but they do. Well, yeah, trees do.
So
I don't care.
That's what I say, period. It's like, you got to go because you did that. You tried to do him dirty for no reason. Like, he was trusting you. So I think it's the right response. But walking out of the game, I mean, I'm sure we'll get there. That's a different conversation. But really, I don't know what he did that they were like so upset about. Like, if your friend's going to go home because he lost the game, like, he lost the game.
He lost the game.
It's a broken rule.
That's what I'm saying. I really do feel like production did exactly what they should have done. I don't think there was means to get kicked out of the game at all. Now, if it had any kind of game advantage, like, hey, if the comp, does this, try this, and this, or some kind of, something.
I saw in preseason that there's
exactly.
this guy in there. Watch out for him.
They acting like they got a letter from Josh, like, this is how you win this comp. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody that played before or something.
Or it was a piece of paper I left behind.
Right.
It was.
Like, if he found a pen, it was that pen that you left it in your.
Allegedly.
I love you. You got this. You're gonna go all the way. You're gonna see it.
When you see this comp, make sure you move to the left after 10
it's
seconds.
Underneath my bed. My bed's the last one on the left in the red room.
Check the library. There's a power in the library.
Hey,
power in the library.
Santina got a power. Remember that? Like, it had literally zero effect on the game. I feel like they did exactly what they should have did. Absolutely. I do feel like if you break a rule in the house, there should be a consequence, and he got a consequence. He can't play in the next HOH. And he lost he didn't get his vote. I feel like it was very warranted. Absolutely. Ty and Zach, they were not happy about it.
They saw the letters. They were pissed. They got up, walked straight to the store.
Man,
what
they did not care. They did not care about that letter. No,
they said, F this letter, man.
They about threw it away if they could have.
Yeah,
and it's like, y'all, that lets us know, like, y'all really don't care about these letters. For me, it was like a slap in the face. It's like they are rewarding everybody else with a letter, but no, you're still stuck on the fact that your behind is on the block and your bestie is going home, because everybody in the house was pretty much kind of not talking game to them. They were kind of being isolated. It's like, how the tables have turned and the mighty have fallen, because they just could not believe that things were not going their way. Finally, after running the house 2 weeks straight, they have no control. And so they were like, okay, since production didn't do what we want to do, we're going to try to tell the house guests that we're going to walk if they don't vote to keep me, because I deserve to be here. So they're like, listen, I got to give it to them, because
that still gets me. The big brother strike.
Because why do I care if you leave? Matter of fact, do you want me to help you pack your bags? Because I will. And so they're like, I know all these things are happening, but I need you all to want to keep it. Like, we're going to leave if you don't. And
they saw the self-eviction last year, and they said, this is the right move.
Definitely.
Right.
This is going to keep me.
I'm just curious. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm curious on what they wanted to happen. So they wanted Hope gone, but then did they want the eviction canceled? Because that would go regardless.
I think that's what they thought was going to happen.
That's exactly what they said.
Yeah.
They said they were sitting on that little thing, and I don't know what that little thing was. They were sitting somewhere in the house, and they were like, what needs to happen is he needs to get evicted. They need to cancel the eviction, and we can both play in HOH. And now let's see what's happening. What in what world did you think that was?
What show is y'all watching? They must have got a dose of the dailies too, because it's some show y'all missing. Because where did you think that was gonna happen?
And where did y'all think y'all were gonna be able to strong arm production to do what y'all wanted them to do? They run the game.
I really do love that. I love that for them.
And so that's one thing. Besides that, I love, here go the juiciest part that happened all week. So after all that stuff, they blowing up, they mad, they didn't get their way, and the whole house finds out about the letter, whatever. Zach Koozie comes after. She said, hold on, because I need to let somebody y'all know something here. I fear no one in this house.
She's so dramatic, and I love it. Oh my God. She's made for TV. She's made for TV.
Yes.
She's made for it. And she said, I don't care what nobody say. So you don't care about cheating? I don't care about the cheating, because it had nothing to do with the game. And so they're going back and forth. And then I love, here come the tag team. Here come Anika with the assist. You are not the judge, Zach. You are not the judge.
Baby, when Anika came in, I turned around. I said, is that Anika? I'm like, say it with your chest, girl. And they came out of nowhere.
And Daniel,
yeah. Relax, y'all.
Y'all, please go to the end. If you don't get up and look, and I didn't catch it on the episode, but I caught it in the clip on Twitter. She said, Daniel, keep out of it.
I saw that.
I said, I know that's right. You be quiet. She took a break. Hold on, Nika, you got him. You
said, let me pause you right there real quick.
Oh my goodness. What were y'all thinking when y'all saw this whole exchange? Because I loved it.
I loved it too. I really think Koozie's real. Like, she really is out here just being herself too. Like, she's not trying to be anybody else in the game, which I love. And you can trust her. Like, if she trusts you, you trust her. And that's why when she had that conversation with Daniel in the HOH, she was like, if you're going to go against me, you're going against me in the game, and I will never trust you again. And I completely respect that with that
very much
openness.
So. Yeah.
Because it draws the line, and she knows, like, this is where I stand and this is where you stand. So let me know.
And go ahead, Therese.
I agree. I mean, if anything, me in that moment being in that room, because I know Renee was in there and whoever else was in there. Yeah. I would have really respected that moment, because, like, we're allies and you're being very real in this moment. Mm-hmm. So I know when in that moment, that would have told me, if Koozie says something to me, she means it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if anything, Koozie should be a great ally to anybody. I really, really hope her and Daniel can mend their relationship, because I definitely feel like with Zach leaving, it's kind of like a little tiff. I don't even know if they can trust each other at this point. I don't know. I just love Kuzi though.
Eli, you got something to add?
Shoot, I just love seeing the fight. Like,
I
loved
loved it.
Like,
Loved it.
Round two.
Exactly.
Please.
Go back at it. Gosh dang, we need Kuzi Zach part 2. We need everyone to start fighting. Like,
lock them in the HOH room.
Listen.
And so from the game point, when you mentioned Kuzi and Daniel, I wouldn't trust Daniel. If I'm Kuzi, I can't trust you, because he was still on the fence about wanting to keep Zach. Even he was like, I just feel like I can still get a vote. Everything's gonna go. He's still gonna go home. And she was like, but that's the thing. I do need you. He's like, you don't need me, because Hope lost his vote. I don't know where. She was like, because Claudia and them could flip their vote, because Renee came back, and this is why I like Renee. She real too, because one, with the veto thing, she said, don't you let them come up here and try to tell you that they, before he used the veto, they're going to try to convince you to stay. They're going to try to tell you something crazy. Don't listen to them. Don't let them get in your head. So one, she was real for that. Two, the conversation when Ty and Zach were outside trying to get people to feel sorry for them and maybe convince, Shania and Claudia, she went back up. She ran that back up to Kuzi and was like, they out here trying to get people to change their minds. And I just need you to know that we're still good. And I believe they still good, but I just need you to know that they over here trying to campaign for votes.
That.
And so with Daniel, she like, I need your vote just in case they flip.
Yeah,
we need you on board. And he's like, I don't know. I want it. She was like, so listen, let me just tell you right now. You vote
just
for this man to stay. We done. Because that's against me. And look, she got to emphasize with her too. I need you to know in this game, I will never forgive you, because I'm going to take that as you are against me. And loved it. And so I don't know where they can go from here. And I was scared. I was like, I hope Daniel don't win, because I don't trust him not to put her up now, because I don't know where his head is at in the game. But I do.
Well, yeah.
That's
I think they'll mend it now for sure. Like, I think they'll be able to come back together. But I think what Daniel is doing is the fact that he's very observant. Like, he's trying to be cool with everybody. And I think he sees the girl alliance, or this mobility of the girl alliance forming, and he doesn't know where he fits in that. Whereas Renee does, Shania does, Claudia, all of them know. Daniel doesn't necessarily get that same in as them. And so I think for him, he's just trying to give himself some kind of safety in the game that these other girls don't have to worry about. Whereas at the same time, they do have to worry about Zach.
Which is why I think Kuzi.
But that doesn't help Kuzi though.
Yeah, it doesn't help Kuzi. But I feel like Kuzi still needs Daniel in terms of, I feel like, what do they call it? The CC, Riri, and whatever. They got some 3 girls. Nene, not Nene. And I feel like Kuzi would be on the outside of that. So it's like she still needs Daniel as a number. It's not like she can completely throw him away for wanting to keep Zach. I think she still needs him. We'll see what she does, but
So I guess that pretty much shout out to David King watching right now. His question is Kuzi, is she able to trust Daniel after this week? If I'm Kuzi, I don't know.
We gotta see how he moves. We gotta see how
he was honest though. Like, he was honest about what he was thinking. Like, he didn't say, yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then like, he didn't do what I did. Like, he didn't say yes. Like, he was honest. He was forthcoming, and he shared his thoughts. And he wanted to hear what she said. So if I were her, I would still trust him. I would just see if his dialogue changes and if he's still as open with conversations.
I mean, we gotta be
giving me quick answers, one words. I might bring it back a bit from him, take a step back, but it's forthcoming.
I mean, we gotta be real. Like, he didn't vote to keep Zach, so
because
he didn't necessarily lose Kuzi's trust yet.
That's
so
true.
I mean, I do feel like that specific reasoning is like, okay, Kuzi can move forward with him, but just the
way my mind worked, my big brother mind is
maybe.
Like, that's an orange flag. It ain't a red one.
There you go.
You didn't actually vote. Orange. It's an orange one though.
Yeah,
He was still because he was gonna vote to keep Zach. I don't care what
definitely.
Nobody say.
Yeah, I think so.
He was going to keep him. And so we get closer to the eviction time. It's like, hold on, this they said on Twitter the eviction what you call them exit interviews are closed. Like, they were cut off. The chair is empty. And so we're like, what is going on? Like, what's about to happen? Because they said no eviction was looking like it was going to take place. Well, because production did not do what Zach and Ty wanted them to do. They decided they were just going to leave in the middle of the night, like a thief in the night, like Santa Claus, come in, put the presents and dip. That's what they said they were going to do. They grabbed their bags and they went to the storage room like, we leaving. How do you
so dramatic?
How do you self-evict? And Ty's pacing. I said, Ty about to leave.
How you self-evict? Walk out the door, bruh. You ain't got to ask no questions. Go see if it's a lot.
You self-evict.
True.
Ask Kevin Jacobs. Shoot, he got the
Kevin.
And because once they didn't get the response from the house, because they thought they could trick the house into wanting to keep him and vote out Santina, but they weren't falling for it. They said, well, since the house won't listen to us, we got to go against the house and we're just going to walk out. And so they're sitting in there, they're talking about evicting, and then here go Ty, he's being pensive. You can see him thinking, and Kevin, Zach is like, oh, well, if you don't want to do it, it's okay. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. Ty was like, all right, I'm going to go check my letter. You ain't got to tell me twice. He goes back upstairs. He's like, let me go think on it because this is just a game, bro. We got to be serious. It's just a game. And I knew Ty wasn't leaving from the get-go because I'm like.
He looked shifty like, we doing this?
Yeah.
You know?
He's too competitive. And so I was like, I don't see him leaving. Even though he was trying to, pretend, I never saw him leaving. But when Zach was like, he got up, they was like, give me your mic, hand me your mic, hand me this, hand me that. You gone, brother. And he's out here, he's upstairs, Ty's upstairs, reading his little letter again. I said, oh yeah, he ain't going. So
when he picked up that letter, I said, yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. He's like, let me just go read this letter to think about it real quick. You knew you weren't leaving. You knew you weren't leaving. And so
he thought about that stipend money is what he thought about.
Right.
There was
a small part of me that was like wondering if Big Brother was like, before you leave, maybe go read that letter and see if you still want to leave because it could be from your mom. Like you're here like representing other people too. It's not just
So as the episode ended, as we seen, Arissa gave the news that there would not be an eviction, and because obviously the chair was empty, so I don't know what they had to do it because what they gonna make Kuzi nominate somebody else on the spot? Like,
right?
Talk
you
about
can and you will.
Because Arissa, you can, Kuzi, and you will nominate somebody else.
And you will.
Right now, you have like Julie. You know how Julie? I need a nomination right now. Nominate somebody. Kuzi, I don't know who shoot DJ Dan. I'm sorry. DJ Dan. So Zach left. So what are your thoughts on that? Because that's a huge controversy. He's out the house and now he left because he didn't get his way. And now he's trying to spin this narrative outside the house with some alumni. I don't know who. That there's more to it than what we didn't see, which yes, clearly we didn't see everything. But the basis of it, he left because he didn't get his way. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to start with the fact that, always do at the end of the day, do what's going to take care of you. If that's what settles you and that's what your spirit feels, that's what you need to answer to, that's fine. What I have a problem, not necessarily a problem, but what I would like to hear more about is why the narrative of cheating is so important in this game when it wasn't before, when you weren't block, when it wasn't week one, when you knew it was cheating. Why was it not important at that time? Kind of what Kuzi brought up. But in the same way, like being able to explain that and let us know. And I think that will help resolve a lot of the things that are going on right now with him walking out. Because it is a lot to go through, but like, just let us know, like, why didn't it happen before?
Right. She said, she was like, so if it was, here she go. Then why didn't you say nothing when you first?
Baby, that long pause.
Crickets.
He had nothing to say.
So it just, like you mentioned, like, you got to explain it. And really, I don't really want to hear nothing he got to say because he walked. Because I just don't. If the production, if Big Brother did not see it as something big enough to make Hope leave the game, because you would have been fine with it though. So if Hope got kicked out, now you fine.
And how many other people are in this house? We got 11, 10 other
11, I think.
Yeah.
11.
And they're not walking out, like they're not leaving with you. Like, do you not think to yourself, like, why am I the only one who feels this way? Am I the only one who has some sense of moral integrity now? Like,
but you don't have no moral integrity. All this lying and manipulating and everything else that you've been doing. Now you got morals.
Listen, because last I checked, he walked in the house and put it in his backpack, and they went back in that bag in a minute. And so you're gonna pull out these morals now. Now, when your back is against the wall, if anything, you're supposed to be this great of a player. Your ego is taking over. talk your way out of these votes.
You can't
Talk your way out that door. Right now,
couldn't.
you going home. Let's see what you can do in the next 24 hours to stay. He realized he couldn't do nothing. He was done. He was fed up. And,
the spell had been broken.
Listen, I 100% stand behind this. Anybody that self-evicts out the house, I could care less what you say. You're done with the game.
Yep.
You didn't finish the game. You could have completed yourself. I could have heard out everything that Zach wanted to say. I probably wouldn't believe 99.9% of it. But I would have heard him out, and I would have gave him some kind of a little bit of a leeway if he at least, you were going home. Okay, go home, do your job. You signed up for a show, and you were supposed to go through A, B, C, or D. You went from A to D to Z on out the door. So if you gonna Z yourself on the way home, then I don't want her not. He been going back and forth on Twitter all day with everybody. Zach, why you used to her?
Put the phone down.
I was
Listen.
Bruno believes me. Godfrey believes me.
Listen,
no. We don't believe you.
Zach, put the phone down, brother. Put it down.
It was a great episode. I mean, it's iconic.
It was.
So great.
It was iconic.
Yeah. Only thing I wish is if he did not self-evict, like I would want to see Zach on All Stars. Like
I didn't say that.
See him.
Didn't say that.
Hey,
didn't come out of our mouth.
People, hey, we need a villain to root against. Zach was a perfect villain. He at least tried to run the house. He was puppet mastering for 2 weeks. Tried for week 3. Got caught up. He thought he was, but he was trying to play the game.
Japan.
I mean, now that Zach's gone, the curse is broken, so Daniel C might win. Like,
listen, you never know.
You never know. The curse is broken.
Look, what I need though, I need him to go into overdrive. I need him to, because he's not right now. He ain't giving me super fan. Come on, super fan. I need him to wake up. I don't know.
Put the gas on.
Put
the gas.
Listen, I don't know what he's doing. Okay, I want him to mourn Zach for the next 24 hours. After that, it's a wrap. We'll talk about him at the end of the season. Yeah. But I really want him. I really. I don't want my sis Kuzi to get put up. But I'm very Daniel and Kuzi are my two that I picked to win the season. Those were my two favorites from jump. Like, love their interviews. I really would like to see, now that we see Kuzi do a great HOH, I really want to see what Daniel would do, because right now I honestly have no idea who he put up.
It's honestly like, normally, we see this game.
Ty for sure, I think.
You think so?
Ty for sure.
For me, I'm scared because now if you start looking at the game, the Women's Alliance is looking strong. In the words of Rupert from Survivor, that Women's Alliance is looking strong. And nobody is looking at them. Nobody's putting it together. Which kudos to them, because we've always said Women's Alliances do not work when they're formed so early in the game. So I am super proud of these ladies for holding together as long as they have.
We're going to see. But they have been, stuck on getting these men out the house. And they've got some good ones out. So I don't know. These next weeks are going to be pretty precarious, because you got people like Clueless, DJ Dan. What is he going to do in this house if he wins power again? Like, where is his head is at? I don't know.
Zach's not there. He doesn't even know. Zach's not there to tell him.
Right. His brain is gone now. So I just don't know who the targets are going to be, because now it's starting to be like, we like most of the house. So
I'm really excited to see what happens with Santina too, because
I forgot that girl was in that house.
Do you know Santina? How do you feel about Santina?
I really do like Santina, and I feel like her game is a little bit misinterpreted, because she's the type of person when you watch her in the house, she doesn't give you a lot of information, and that makes people feel about her. She's very, I think, stone cold face when you do talk to her, and I think she's kind of similar to Zach, where she replies with a question, and it's not really kind of. Do you remember Helena? I think it's similar, kind of like that vibe, but a little bit more like a little bit more like taken back, like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree though.
That vibe, yeah. So I feel like she gets a bad rap for not really being as forthcoming with stuff. But I think if she opens up a little bit more, the right person she aligns with, like I really feel like. If her and Kuzi hash it out, that's a strong duo.
Yes, I think they can run this
game. I 100% agree. I'm not a fan, but I could see that. I think that would be a very, very good duo. And even they were having like a little, it wasn't game-wise, but they were having a little conversation on the couch today. And I was like, this might work. I don't know, but it might work.
Because if I was Koozie, I'd be telling her like, "Girl, I put you up because I wanted them to think I was coming for you. You was never my target. I knew I had this on lock. I knew Zach was getting put up when that veto was used. So even if you would have put yourself out, that's perfect. Zach is going up. That was the plan. So I'm glad
you was never going home.
You were never.
You would never.
No. Because I'm glad you brought that up, Josh, because I 100% I think they could be a force to run this house. Oh, and with Anika, I'm not gonna forget our sis Anika because I love Anika.
Oh, yeah.
We know she got Koozie back, so I love that. And I also like the whole Koozie and Hope working together too. I really like that, the fact that they came up with that plan, like the whole thing too. So we're gonna see how that shake out. But I don't know.
Next week's,
Yeah. So hopefully Santina get her head on straight, because that first week, that pick me spirit that she had, that would just kind of ruin it for me.
Listen,
for her.
Okay, one thing about me, I hold a grudge. Okay, like Josh, I just got over your grudge like 6 days ago. Yeah. So okay, I'm one to hold on to
probation.
Listen, that's that orange flag. You're doing good. You're doing good. But I really going in, like, I thought Santina was gonna be great. Santina's doing great in these comps. Okay, like we do need to like keep an eye on her because she is low key, high key kicking ass in these.
She already won 2, came in second / third.
That's what I'm saying. So I get that the girls are, they're not really feeling Santina because she was with the guys in the beginning. Which I would like, even if she had just kind of like befriended like one woman, like, Santina, what are you doing? So the fact that all this Zach drama happened, Ty's probably number one on the list for mainly everybody in the house now. I hope she can settle and put herself back into a safer spot in the house. And I would love for Santina just to lie low and work with Koozie, but I really need her to just sit back and relax. And I think she could really, really go far. Yes. I really do.
She needs to just, as long as she delivered from that pick me spirit, then we can.
She needs to be double delivered from that pick me spirit.
So
and she's a great person too, because she really doesn't have that one person yet where it's like her ride or die. Like, she's still one of the only few people who is just not floating, but just kind of in the air, waiting for that person to grab onto them. If I see that in the house, like, I would definitely grab onto them.
I didn't even think about that. That's definitely interesting. Okay.
As we, get ready to wrap it all up, because we've covered how this played out. Huh?
Wait.
I said not yet. I like this.
Okay.
We got time. Look. It's only 9:00 here.
Wait, hold on. True. Let me get off topic one more time, because this is a question that I've always wanted to ask you, and it just popped back in my head. That night that Marty was doing all that crazy hoopla, they cut fees off for a couple hours. Did Marty try to self-evict?
They never talks about it, and they never really opens up. And as you can tell, like, my relationship with Marty was very tumultuous. And so once by the time week 6 hits, like, there was no more even game talk with me and Marty.
Really?
It was just like, let's just be civil. Like, you're gonna put me up, okay? I'm the target. Betty's the target. It really doesn't matter. Right. Like, these people want me out of here. Like, you really think they're gonna get rid of Betty over me? Like, are you wild? Like,
right.
They would be stupid to keep me in the game.
Yeah.
So after that point, like, I really don't know about what he was going through and what was going on, but I do know that I think it's a very hard environment to be in. So I could totally understand and see him maybe wanting to do that and think that, because you don't know what the outside world is thinking of you, perceiving you, and you're trying.
We wanted him to step in it. He could have, and we would have been happy.
Listen, I would have got claps and praises from me. I'm gonna be very real.
But I would have been a little less stressed during the game.
I need to understand how y'all let Father Time win them physical comps and beat y'all the way he did.
He was calling him Father Time.
No, it was not easy. Like, so Marty had been training for Big Brother before
he looked like it.
He lost like 30 pounds before all of the things. So, like, when we're holding on to the wall and everything, like, my 200-pound ass is just trying to stay alive. Because we do a quick demo before we did it, and I was the first person who fell. I tried to just hang straight before I watched everybody. I fell down like a sack of potatoes going down.
I remember I was like, "Now, Josh, what are you doing?"
I was like, "I cannot do this to my family. I cannot be the first person to fall off this wall." So I was trying to hold on to it. But Marty had been training, like, he came serious, and so when he lost in the triple veto, he didn't even bother campaigning. He's like, you know what? It's my time. I'm out.
It sure is, brother.
Yeah.
It was time for him to go.
And I really did try my best to reach out to him and work with him in the game, but he made it really difficult.
We know why.
did.
It's okay. It's a little word to start with an R.
I tried everything.
He was very biased.
That's
So
not what
it
I
seems.
said. I said that was.
Don't know
a word
how
to
he was
start with an
Canada's favorite. He wasn't America's favorite, or at least.
I didn't get to vote, but my vote probably would have went to some other places first. But
I agree.
That little village that he had, they stayed with them votes and got him a Canada. So he won Canada. I don't care what
that was all in Canada.
Listen.
A lot of us up here.
Listen, my absolutely favorite part of the season, hands down, in all the seasons I've ever watched, BB US to BB Canada, that chain of safety.
Beautiful.
Oh my God. When I tell you, if I ever had to write like the most like exact thing that I've ever wanted to happen in a show that I watch, I'm like, please let it go like this, let it go like this. Oh my gosh. And when you had to name who you say, I was like, Josh, who you?
Oh, you scared?
I was.
Because we didn't know, because Helena was over here and Kevin is on this shoulder.
Exactly. I was like, who?
My favorite part of the chain of safety is when I go, Betty, and we both sit down together.
I'm so like, like,
wait. I still got to.
Belly about to say, I'm sorry.
So wait, I still got to pick somebody.
Yes.
Oh, I was
like,
so
no, bro, let's just
nervous.
sit down. They can keep doing this themselves. Let's just take a seat.
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you. To go back on Twitter that night, woo, we was having so many celebrations that night.
We were watching it happen because we were like, okay, what is with this whole thing? After that Jess's terrible HOH, we were sick of Jess. And so Moose wins. We like, okay. And then the change, and Herman, Josh, Bet. So it was great. It was great. I wish they would bring that back. On the cool, I wish they would do that in US.
They should do that.
They did it.
Season.
They should do it every season.
Celebrity Big Brother season 3. They did it. With
the Mon Juan pick one. Yeah. Chain of safety. Just call it what it is.
Right.
But if the person I don't like wins, I don't want them to do it.
Oh, is that what
you know what? Like, I would have been okay if nobody picked me and I got to play in the veto. And the reason for that is
probably would have won.
I feel like no matter who I was sitting next to, even if I didn't win, nobody would have voted me
out. No.
Jess was going home.
We could have pinpointed who would have went home easily. Yeah, that's the thing though. It wouldn't have mattered who I sat next to. They would have went home, I feel like.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was such y'all season was great. I gotta say, y'all really ate.
Y'all ate.
What was it? I cannot remember exactly what it was. What was it that we were trying to figure out it was a conversation between you and Betty, and everybody kept coming in and interrupting. What was the conversation we were trying to get them to get the answer to? I cannot remember what it was.
Was it the double? Was it the double when we were in Expedia with me and Betty?
I think that's what it was. And we were on pins and needles, and they would not leave y'all alone. They was
it was the vote, like, because they were like switch. Was Marty over here questioning everybody about the double vote?
Yes. That's what it was. And they didn't want to get y'all alone. Yeah.
And they were blaming, but she was like, "No, I did not. No, I did not vote." She said, "Did I not ask you where you were going to vote? And what did you say?" I said, "Okay, then. So how did I vote?"
Exactly. That night was wild when we were going through it because I remember Betty went up to Gino and he's like, "Did you vote to evict me?" And she was like, "No, if I wanted to vote to evict you, I would have told you to your face that I was one of those people, but I wasn't." But if we could have made it happen, like we really could have. If Big Brother gave us 30 more seconds, it could have been a possibility. It wasn't great for everybody's game, but for some people to stay in the game, it was good for me. But yeah, I think everything still like kind of worked out.
Only for him to go out the way he did. That's probably the saddest way to go out over a darn gummy bear that he didn't.
The craziest thing.
That's so sad.
Did y'all know about Gummy Bear Gate while y'all were in the house, or y'all found out later?
Kevin told me about it. He said Gino's going on the block. I was like, what? It was the day of the renoms because Betty won a POV, and then it was the day of renoms, I think, and they did the gummy bears. And Kevin's like, Gino's going on the block. That's all I can say to you. Don't say anything else to anybody. And I was like, okay, absolutely. And he's like, you're gonna be staying in the game. We're all getting rid of Gino, but we cannot tell JC Lynn, so do not tell Jace. And I feel terrible because Jace had the whole time, she's trying to send me like my well wishes and like things are gonna be okay. all of this, and I was
He
like,
thought you was
no.
He had your bags packed in at the door.
She did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so we didn't know at all, and then when I found out it was over a gummy bear, I was like, "What God do I have to thank for this?" Because
Did you and Gino
the
have
spirit
any,
watching
like,
me?
right? Did you and Gino have any kind of like relationship? And I feel like y'all barely talked in the house.
We didn't.
Well,
trust each
Gino
other.
barely talked in general. Let's be real.
We-
I don't know about
me and-
y'all, but I've
Me
never
and
seen
Gino
many
did not
conversations
trust
between
each
each other.
other. No, once because so I won't get into the deep dive, but once the third week happened and I was on the block with Steph, what I was trying to do was isolate a part of the house that I knew I could target week after week, and I wanted to win HOH time and time again to protect all of these other people. Unfortunately, what happened is week 4 veto, that was the time we did the Price is Right or whatever. And because I was trying to be incognito about staying to Steph the whole time, I didn't work on those prices because I didn't want to be like that person who's like, I know I'm staying, so I can look at all these prices. You guys don't have to worry about it, and kind of give it away. So when I knew that was the competition, like when I tell you my heart broke, I was like, this is it. This is the worst, because I would have done anything to win that week 4 POV or the week 4 HOH.
I thought you was gonna win it.
When I knew Gino won it, I was like, this ruins the entire plan, because it doesn't matter who won it. We could have put up Gino and Jace right away.
Yeah.
Dang. And they knew that too, so they knew they had to win.
There's
but yeah, me and Gino, we were not really close in the game. Like we were cool, but like I don't know what it was. We just kind of like had this. I know you're physical, and I think you're physical too. So only one of us can really be that person.
Yeah, I don't know why they kept you so long, because I got
that's the part.
I got eyes, and I said, hold on, he didn't came in second place.
A lot.
Back,
like a lot.
Back,
yeah.
To back.
I said, he gonna mess around.
That's why.
Win. Yeah,
that's why people call Kyle a lot, but Kyle was making the right move. When Kyle did it, I was like, "You're a genius! Like, people need to do this sooner, because it's really not in their best interest to keep me in the game." Like,
that's why
it's to win. Like,
yeah,
Kyle was smart. Kyle was like, "I see Josh playing Beehive, Honeycomb, whatever it is."
Now I have a question. I have a quick question. Did you know how Hamza set you up on the triple? How we all knew who was going on?
I heard about this. I don't know about this, but I heard about it.
Oh my God.
We don't say that man. That he's called that man from this point on. That man. He has no name on this podcast. That man. Go ahead. That man.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
No. You had it. Go ahead. That man.
Man. So Hamza from, I think, BBCAN11, he was doing spoilers all season.
They were
like
all
before
right.
episodes. He was like, oh, yeah, this person's going home. Oh, chain of safety. That went well, or whatever. Get to the triple, and it's who did he say he was safe? All I remember is he said Summer, she's safe. She's still here. I forgot who he said went home.
He said
Lynn,
the black
right?
folks was safe. JC was supposed to go home.
Yeah. JC Lynn was the one that was going home. Man, go ahead, Eli.
Yeah, we saw you win HOH. It's like, all right.
Hey, we cooking.
Gosh dang. Then we saw the knot. We saw you put a Betty, and then
like,
next to Marty and JC Lynn.
It was like, wait a minute.
Hold up. But it still could work out. It still could work out.
Win, Vito pull Betty off.
Well, like, maybe it's a conversation that happened, and this was
Jason
supposed
Marty
to happen.
Right.
And the next thing we know, Vito comp happens. JC Lynn wins. We're like, wait. Whole panic, chaos going on.
Oh my God.
How did she win? She's going home.
I swear we broke Twitter that night, because we was like, wait a minute.
I'm watching the comp, and I'm like, why I look like JC? I said, no, she's doing so good, but we know
like,
she don't win.
She lost.
She's going to fumble somewhere.
She did so well. I was like, wait a minute.
Why look like she's about to win? And then she wins.
And we're so confused. We're like, okay, this is not what Hamza said. He's been right all season. And of course, because he's a past contender,
we didn't trust him the rest of the
he
season.
has knowledge.
Not on the triple,
Of course he knows.
On the triple, man.
So Summer goes up, and then it was like, I don't want to say it's like a funeral, but we were all in shock and awe. Like, I don't think we recovered until the end of the season. And right when we recovered was when the finale, and then you cut Betty, which, like, it was
crazy, man.
I loved it though. I love it just because it's pandemonium. I come to this show for drama, and those weeks for drama, and I love it.
I like spoilers, but it's always great when you get a shipper. I mean, of course, it wasn't a great, shot, But when I tell you, oh my God, if we could,
I know a little
relive
bit how you
so
feel.
sad.
Watching this week and hearing Vanessa get safety, and then Vanessa's on the block.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute,
is this
right.
the same show?
Did John get the same?
This the parallel universe show.
There we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
Always a parallel universe.
Oh my gosh, it was so shocking.
But man, it was so great.
You really never know how this thing is going to shake out. So
right,
you really don't.
So it's just hard to tell. But like I said, like my eyes on Santina to do what, because like you were winning those coming in second, third place. She been coming in second and third place. So now my eye is on that.
Moving and the forward. Target has shifted now too. So
and
she put a little bit of a bigger target on herself, but I think she can make it through. I think she has a lot of support still.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So as we get ready to wrap up, who would you, if you're HOH now, just think about, obviously we don't know the full dynamics and relationships.
Oh, not the mess.
The mess. Who would you nominate if you were in that house?
No, it's a hidden HOH, right? It's a hidden HOH.
Yeah. To be honest, I personally would put up Claudia first because I want to isolate her from Ty. I already know Ty's a big target.
Yes.
And she is a very good social player. Like when you see her, she's always with people. She's always talking. Like she's always in. Like she came to play and she's playing every day. Mm-hmm. And so I will put her up first. She's also part of that Girl Alliance. So I feel like she's also one of the easier people to isolate, specifically just for the reason that you could use that she's close to Ty and Ty's a big target. So it's kind of like a good scapegoat too without putting a lot of blood on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then next to her, I probably would put up, I want to say Renee, but Renee's just so cool with so many people, it would piss a lot of them off.
Mm-hmm. But this, remember, this is the, what is it, mystery, what they call it?
I would put maybe DJ Dan, just for being a whole part of that boys thing and being so close to Ty and Zach. I think that's the other scapegoat. But I think Claudia would be my target.
So fake it like Ty's getting backdoored. Everyone thinking Ty's getting backdoored.
Right.
Then someone else goes home. I like
and you could sell it with Ty's getting backdoored. These are people he's close with. Sell it like that. Everyone's going to believe it. You isolate from that part where Claudia's close to Ty. Mm-hmm. And so it just makes it easy for you. And
but that's the beauty though.
After that. Yeah.
You don't even have to explain it because it's secret. So
yeah. I mean, that's from my perspective. Like I love the Girls Alliance. I do love them. Playing the game though, they are very strong.
Yeah.
Ty gotta go. Because I can see Claudia slowly pulling away. I feel like there's a few strings left in this woman's alliance, but it's like that's why I wish we had feeds, because I really need to know who the real Claudia is. Because right now, like I like her and then I don't. And then I like her and then I don't. So I need to see like what her game is. I do not want Ty to pull her game down, because from day one, Claudia was like, all right, women, we got to do this. We got to do this. You know, she was trying to pull this alliance together. So I really, really would like to see a successful women's alliance. I really would.
Yeah, 100%.
With Kuzi with a win.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Let me put that out there.
Shanae is becoming one of my favorites, though. She really
I do like her.
The girl is so unbothered. Like she really.
That's why she gotta go to Block.
She's living in MTV real world.
And
like,
that's why she gotta go
when they asked her to get the letters, that's the most we've seen. Like that was. Shania, please go get the letters.
I know. I was like, who? Hold on.
Yeah.
And that's why if I was the secret HOH, Shania and Daniel C are hitting the block, because y'all, I need people that have never been on the block for real, come evict, veto, whatever. I want them to, because Shania is sitting pretty and don't have to do much, and Daniel C is sitting pretty. I need these middle people that don't have true, like, clear allegiances. Well, we know Shanae and the girls, but outside of that, I need to see what y'all got, what's going to happen. So I would put them to
because everyone can talk a big game until they touch the block. We saw what happened with Zach. He touched the block. He couldn't last like 2 days in. So I feel you with that, Eric. I want to see some people sweat that haven't sweat before. And that could be Claudia, but that could be anyone else. Dan C, Anika. Of course, those are people I love. I don't want to see him go, but I'd love to see him sweat a little bit. Jonathan, which I feel like they'd manage well, but you never know.
Or put two of the girls up and make them choose.
If I was the HOH, the secret HOH, I'd 100% put up Ty and Claudia. I need Claudia to see how cutthroat Ty is, because Ty, all he's gonna do is bad talk Claudia. You know, at the end of the day, Ty likes to win, and I feel like that is gonna sever that little piece Like, even if Claudia is 100% with the women, I need it to be like cut and dry, point and blank. Cut it, because Ty is gonna do anything he absolutely can. I feel like
even tell on production to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's gonna do anything that he can. So that would be that's who I'd put up if I was Secret HOH.
That's a good one too.
Or whatever they calling it.
I mean, if you really want to be cutthroat, like you could put up Big John, because a lot of people are gonna have a hard time cutting him later if you really want to be that
That's
person.
true.
But that's
Big John
Twitter,
is a teddy
that's
bear.
a sweet
I
man.
love
He's
Big
a
John.
sweet man. I do too.
I call him Captain
And that's
Canada.
why he's gonna go far.
I love him. I really hope he's HOH this week, though. I do. I really want to see what he's doing. All I know is he said my girl Koozie good, and he said my boy Hope said. So yeah,
All I need
ready.
to know.
So listen. So I don't know if he is. I'm gonna just throw it out there. It's either I call him Captain Canada, John, or DJ Dan. One of them is HOH, I think. So I'm just ready to see who it is.
Dan, because I just
I don't you.
Here comes Ty.
Here comes Ty.
And gonna run his whole HOH.
Run this. It's like you ain't learned nothing yet, brother. And I'm still mad at him from last week with the whole Rob situation because, and I don't really care that Rob was gone. Yeah, I did want him to stay so Zach didn't get his way. Ooh, look at me, bars. Unintentional, but I just wanted him to stay so Zach wouldn't get his way. But then when he said, "I know I'm probably getting played, but I don't know what to do." You're the HOH. You didn't have to put how many people you want to. Like, turn it on.
Listen, right.
And so I don't know. I'm nervous. If the wrong person is HOH, I'm just nervous for my girl Koozie. And Anika, since they were so vocal about back. So
and it sounds like we're not yet at jury, right? Arissa would have announced it by now, or will she announce it at the eviction? Because we're at 11. So if there's a 9-person jury, that'd be now. Or if Canada's
I feel like we got one more week.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. So we may get a Canada's vote again type deal potentially.
Because the jury would be they did it last year. I feel like it's going to be a 7-people jury just because. I think that stretches out the season more, and maybe you can do a battle back too to bring someone into.
I don't want nobody to come back. I'm tired of battle.
I like the battle back. Hey, we know
we've had 3 people leave, so.
We don't need no more battle backs because the people that I don't want back in the house end up getting back in the house. So I'm tired of battle backs never go my way.
They could bring back Vanessa, or they could bring back Amal.
But they already
people I would like to see. That they can come back, I don't care.
And mess the whole game up.
Probably.
But yeah, they probably gonna do a jury buyback, and I just don't want to see because, like I said, they never go. Even in BBUS, a battle back.
They never go my way, never.
And so I don't see it happening here. Like, even in season 9, Jared didn't even come back in the game, even though I didn't want him to stay. But I prefer Jared to Tara, so I'm like,
that was crazy. Oh my god, one of the worst jury I've ever seen in my life. You let this little white woman that's like 4'11" be Jen, what are you doing? Oh, talk about bad luck, man.
I knew he wasn't coming back. I knew it.
That girl fought hard.
She did. So, well, listeners, viewers, it has been amazing recapping BBCAN with our friend Josh Nash, Dr. Nash. And we appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate those who will come later. Thanks for stopping by and being an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. Please subscribe, turn on your post notifications so you can catch when our new episodes are coming out. And please feel free to message us, reach out to us, send us messages so we can talk back with you. Until next time.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
You're welcome back anytime.
Anytime.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Good night.